This week, baller cigar cutters. Are expensive lighters worth it? Can you smoke on the beach or on a cruise ship? Cypher 3311, which is really cool for us security nerds out there. New cigar line that we'll be talking about. Davidoff limited editions. Drew Estate makes a limited edition of regular production. Miami Don Lino, the Don Lino Africa. I haven't talked about those in a while. Some humidors coming out. The Oliva cigar advent calendar. Like, I want like multiple of these.
For real,
right? And what else? All kinds of other stuff this week on the Stogie Geek Show.
This is Security Weekly. For security professionals, by security professionals. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up. So we also have remote Drew, who is remote over in Texas. Look at you. You got some Stogie Geek swag going on in the background.
Got my banner?
Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm all set up for the Stogie Geek mobile lounge.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This week, we're talking about and smoking Lanceros. I forgot to say that at the top of the show, but we all got Lanceros here in the studio. I'm, of course, your host, Mr. Paul Asadorian. To my left, Mr. Joe Hozempa. And for this show, is Joe Hollywood. Still Joe Hollywood. You get the Hollywood kind of glasses going on, too.
Nice.
The hair, the glasses.
Title's coming back, right?
That's right.
Love title's coming back. It's good to be here.
Mr. Jason Albuquerque is here with us.
It is so nice to be back. We took a month off.
We did.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's
I missed
so
it
great
last
to be
month.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this.
It's good to be back here in studio. I'm employed by a different employer.
I know. A lot has changed over the course of the last. Yeah.
So
last month or so.
I'm no longer working full time for the Cyber Risk Alliance. I am a consultant doing the Paul Security Weekly show and a soon to be released Hacker Hero show. And of course, I still do the Stogie Geek show, and I'm working full time for a firmware security company called Eclipsium.
Yeah, and Joe Hollywood, he's
Joe
on a
Hollywood
new venture
also has a new adventure.
There's been lots of change.
Yeah.
No wonder we weren't here last month.
I no longer work for the Security Weekly team as well. So for the rumor on the streets that Stogie Geeks is done data, think again. That's all I have to say.
Again.
Think again. So yeah.
Dundada. Was that Supercat back in the day?
But you work for a great company too.
Yes, I work for Extra Hop.
Love the team over at Extra Hop. We've worked with them before.
It's super cool. I'm very excited, and hopefully, career path wise, I'll get into more of sales engineer stuff.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
Jason Albuquerque is still in the same spot.
You're still in the same.
But you have a good spot.
What company you? I met your company at an event.
At a cybersecurity event. So I work for a technology services and IT services company, Envision Technology Advisors. We, I'm the chief operating officer. I'm there to grow the company. So we're a smaller consulting firm that wants to really go up market. So I'm there to grow the company. I came from a $500 million IT services organization, and bring in some of those best practices there. And what a year it's been. Let me tell you. I mean,
It's exciting, man. I
We're
think
growing this
we're-
company.
yeah,
we're
we're all-
hiring. It's
Right.
absolutely
We're all
incredible.
excited about our day jobs,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I mean, it's not cigar related, right? But I spend a lot of time looking at the firmware that runs inside your laptop.
Right,
And I'm like,
right.
my job is to evangelize problems and solutions with that. And I'm like, I'm looking under the covers going, oh my God, I
Right.
didn't even like
Right.
some of this stuff. I'm like, I'm carrying around a vulnerable laptop. Here I am, cybersecurity guy.
Right.
I'm carrying around a vulnerable laptop.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not good.
No, and the beauty of where I am now is we get to make a huge impact because not only are we going into organizations and trying to transform them with technology, now you have one of the leaders in the organization who's putting an uber focus on cybersecurity in everything we do. Right?
Yeah, it's important,
So when
yeah.
your IT service provider is security centric in all that we do, all that we implement, I mean, that's a match made in heaven right there. You know, that's
I think all of us work, we all work in cybersecurity that are on the Stogie Geek show, and that's why we drink whiskey and cigars to calm our
cigars.
nerves down, man. 'cause
Yeah.
there's some scary stuff out there.
yeah, they say there's a lot of burnout, but not when we can do this.
Lancero is a great cigar, though,
Yeah.
to slow down,
Yep.
take your time. I know it's not everyone's favorite size. It's the opposite of your 60, 70 ring gauge kind of cigars, which I've come around to the larger ring gauge cigars. I think if they're done right, I really do enjoy smoking them. Lancero's kind of when I want to unwind a little bit. It feels kind of dainty, right? Like sometimes you're like, I want to smoke a cigar,
Yeah,
right? Like
right,
I want
right,
a
right,
Toro,
right, right.
Robusto, Churchill,
Yeah.
double Corona. Like I want a cigar. But sometimes I'm like, I want to slow things down because you got to smoke these. I think Lancero's a little slower. They're not producing as much smoke. They're really hard to roll. And just kind of recapping what we've talked about on previous shows.
Yeah.
Hard to roll, hard to give that flavor profile because you have less tobacco, but you do have a lot of wrapper, right? Like that wrapper to filler ratio that we've discussed is interesting. So I think you get a lot of flavor when done correctly from the Lancero. Now, one of my favorite Lanceros is what Jason and I are smoking now.
Yeah.
This is the Lost City Lancero. I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the rest of the line of Lost City from Arturo Fuente, and the Lancero tends to be what we call the belle of the ball, in my opinion.
Yep.
And this is a great Lancero. We've talked about the Lost City before. Many know the story. It was a tobacco farm that was planted and cultivated for the movie Lost City. And so they still produce the line today. It's an old movie. I forget who the actor was that starred in Lost City. Was the Baldwins or something? Someone's probably yelling it out as they listen to the podcast.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a great Lancero. And Joe, what did you pick up?
The La
Just mo-
Flor Dominicana Double Hero.
That's a really old one. Actually,
Yeah.
Mark Jr. on the show had given me a couple of those. And that in the Lancero with some age on it is really good. So we'll check in a little bit and see how.
Super tasty so far.
What do you think so far? I know you just lit yours up, Jason.
Good. I mean, it's I'm getting a little earthy taste. A little bit of leather in the beginning. So far, so good.
Lost a little with age.
I was just going to ask, how long have these rested?
He's been sitting in my humidor for a number of years, let's just say.
But when you say a number, are we talking
Over
a
5.
handful? Or are we
Easy,
talking
Probably 5. Easily
years?
5.
Yeah.
Easily 5.
Yeah, because-
I probably should have broke them out sooner. But it's really bad. Like I dig through my humidor. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had those. Like those are hiding in there. I'm like, I
Right.
dug up 2, and I'm like, oh, that's
Hello
interesting.
there.
I'm like, we should definitely smoke these, and hopefully they're not aged out. But I think, yeah, don't let these age as long as I did in your humidor.
So less than 5 years.
What's interesting though is I've got a box of the Opus X. I forget exactly which size. It's like a Toro which size. I forget which double Chateau Fuente. I want to say it's somewhere in that size range, like a Toro-ish. I smoked one Wednesday night on the show, and it's probably maybe 3 years, maybe roughly 3 years on that box, and they're still not ready.
Really?
Like they're still, it was good, but I'm like, I need to put these down for another year. Like I don't want anyone smoking them until another year, because I feel like your experience is going to be diminished until they have at least another year.
Yeah.
I'm going to check in on them, smoke another one. That's kind of the frustrating thing with Opus X. Now this is an Opus X. The Lost City is an Opus X kind of derivative. It's a different blend, but in the same family. You notice the band has the black Opus X that Lost City adorned. So it's in that family, but very, I don't know how different the tobacco is, but different tobacco. And I think that the frustrating thing with regular Opus X is 3 years may not be enough. Maybe it's 4, and that's size dependent as well, and so it requires a lot of patience.
But I think with Opus X, we realized that 10 is too long. Because I
10
think
is too long.
we smoked
There's
like a 9.5.
But this is just like
Opus,
wine. This is just like wine, man. When I talk to people that are sommeliers and like people really into wine, they describe that bell curve as well.
You got to find the sweet spot.
And the bell curve is different for the type of wine, and the same thing for the type of cigar. It's very, very similar, because you don't want your collection in either case to age out. You want to be smoking and drinking at its peak. That is like the most pretentious thing I think I might have said in some time on the show.
But all truth, my friend, all truth.
All truth. I want to talk about this is like a cybersecurity crossover here. I had not heard of this cigar manufacturer before. Had you guys Costagli?
Costagli. I mean, I have my New England accent.
I think DH is Dag. Yeah, Costagli cigars.
Costagli cigars.
They announced
maybe Costagli. I don't know.
A lot of announcements for PCA, right? So the Cypher 3311, and this particular line is paying homage to the founder's grandfather, who was a POW in World War II. It's called The Coat of Arms, used as this line's primary image replicates one of his grandfather's wartime embroideries. So the band pays homage to his grandfather's service, which it sounded like his grandfather was a prisoner of war, which could not have been a really fun, certainly wartime experience for his grandfather. So it's shipping in July. The different blends are coming in 4 sizes. The Laurens and Enigma use the Ecuadorian wrapper. Needle and Colossus use an Ecuadorian wrapper. So let's see if I can get the references. Enigma is the German encryption machine, mechanical machine that was used to encrypt messages and was exclusively used by the Germans. It was actually a public company, and at some point just before around wartime in World War II, the German government took over the company and said you can't distribute these anywhere else aside from Germany. It was exclusively a German encryption. A great movie is called The Imitation Game. Talks about the all of the different aspects of breaking the German code. Some of my good friends in cybersecurity have acquired Enigma machines. If you're going to acquire one, so you're like, if you think this is cool and you want to go acquire one today, go listen to my interview I did with Marcus Sachs. He talks about the market and how it's evolved for these Enigma machines. It's very, very hard to get today. Very, very hard to find. So pretty cool. Now there's a cigar. Like, I want to buy a box of these cigars just so because, I have a box that says
that's why
Enigma on it, right?
That's why I love this article, right? And you know, his grandfather wasn't just I mean, I don't want to say just. He was a POW, World War II, but he was in intelligence. He helped with, decrypting messages and sending encrypted messages.
And encrypting messages,
helping some of these POWs escape. So he was heavily involved, right?
Now, Colossus was one of the first computers developed in 1943 to 1945 by the British code breakers to help break codes as part of the war. So that's another reference to that one is code breaking. So Colossus is code breaking. Enigma is the encipherment of codes.
Now, from what I'm understanding in the article, they're actually going to have codes on the packaging.
Yeah,
that's a smoker can decrypt.
They're in coffins.
They're in coffins.
They're in coffins, and I would imagine at the price point that they're seeking per cigar, that there would be a good attention to detail. It'll be a collector's item for sure.
So I thought this was a super cool article, super cool release, and
I don't remember
for us geeks.
Yeah, I don't remember needle encrypt. I'm like Googling now. I don't remember what the other two are. I recognize Colossus and Enigma.
It's Needle and Laurens.
Yeah, I'm not sure what those signified. I have to do some research. We should ask them. This is really cool.
It is. Well,
I don't know what the cigars are gonna be like, but I want them.
Totally.
Again, just to have. Just to have because I think it's really cool, and I would save the boxes and put them on display. Yeah, and you're right, they come in coffins. So I would save. This is one where I'd save all the boxes and coffins, because the coffins have like what looks like a code on them. It's a series of different length lines and dots on top of the coffins. Really cool. When we talk about all the gimmicky cigars and stuff like that, this appeals to our nerd side, certainly. In our cybersecurity
highly
nerd side.
appeals to the nerd
highly
side.
appeals to us. So it's funny. Jason and I both found this. So yeah, it's really cool. I can't. When did they say when and how we're going to be able to get these?
Let's see if there's a release in here.
Because we gotta order these. This is one.
Totally.
I don't do a lot of chasing these days, but this is one I'm gonna chase.
So it says in this initial release. So the release of the server, 16,000.
They got a Salomon. They got a box press.
It says the release in 2022, but they're not. Can't find a date.
MSRP is $50 to $60 per cigar.
Worldwide, July 2022. So they're coming out soon.
It's awesome.
So we got to keep an eye out.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to Jason to keep an eye on. Jason will be the
So,
first.
hey,
He'll
listen,
be texting me.
Stick Chaser.
Paul, I found him. I hear they
Who delivered today?
Yeah,
Who
right.
delivered? Who Stick
We did. We got
Stick Chaser delivered today, didn't
we
he?
got those Tatuaje RC series.
That's right.
Have you smoked one yet?
I have not. I
You
give
have
them to you
discipline.
first.
You have discipline. my
90
friend.
days, brother. 90 days in my humidor.
Wow. That's
Traveled
discipline.
those 20 cigars traveled the world, my
I
friend.
know.
They traveled the world.
Traveled the world. I can't wait to
And
smoke
don't think I didn't look at every tracking drop site.
Yeah. And they got here. Amazingly
They got
enough.
here. They got here. A big shout out to my buddy Axel, who actually helped out there. So he, good compadre in Germany who helped out.
Dude, I was thinking earlier, with all this new legislation coming out, like we need to create a club where we can have straws and plastic bags, and we can smoke cigars.
That's right.
And we can have high capacity magazines.
Yes.
And right?
Right. There's a lot
This is
going
like
down.
the
There is a
Freedom
lot
Club.
going
Like,
down.
Everything that's been banned is encouraged in our Freedom Club.
That's right.
As many plastic
right.
bags as you want, man.
Right. Seriously. I got my straw right here.
Dude, it's crazy.
Legislation is going absolutely bonkers, and that's why
Now,
I
like-
actually included an article about some things that are
I
happening.
mean, vaping in there too. Like,
Yeah.
whether you're a vaping proponent or whatever your feelings are on it, like, I just think it's kind of scary. The FDA can come down on one company and put the ban hammer down on just
right.
one company.
That's right.
I'm like, I thought we had freedom, man. Like, I love freedom.
That's what I'm saying. Me
And
too.
It's under attack. Now, on the positive side, the stories that Jason and I found, that both, I think, piqued our interest to be like, how are cigars being treated in some of this recent legislation?
That's the key.
Florida was pretty smart about it.
Yep.
Because cigars are natural. It's all tobacco. There's no filters or plastics or anything in there. And I think that was part of the problem in Florida. Like, look, I'm a huge proponent of the environment. Like, I monitor environmental
Exactly.
science. I was telling the audience on Wednesday this. Like, the environment, we're both fishermen, right?
Yeah.
I love the outdoors
Love
and
the
all that
outdoors.
stuff. So by nature, I was always brought up to respect the environment. And I think the problem in Florida with cigarettes is the filters,
filters.
get left on
That's
the
right.
beach, and they don't biodegrade, and it's unnatural, and it's a problem. So now Florida didn't come out and put a statewide ban and say you can't smoke on any of the beaches. They left it to the cities and towns.
Right.
Man, which is just crazy to look at what's happening today, to see the shift of like what happens at the federal level, what
Sure.
happens at the state level,
Yeah.
what happens at the city and town level.
Right.
And it's so different. I was talking to one of our friends who operates a company outside the U.S., and he was like hiring people in the U.S. and then unraveling what each state law is really like a lot of work for businesses.
It really
Even
is.
in the U.S., it's a
is.
lot of work to understand all of those laws and know where you have employees and know what certain
Perfect
laws are.
example is as a chief operating officer now, running the line of business and ensuring we're doing the correct things legally is part of what
Right.
you know,
It's
part of my
compliance.
responsibility is compliance,
Yeah.
right? And making sure we're on a good legal standing. And we're at a point now where we have to evaluate every state that we hire an employee in and every state
Yes.
we do business in.
Correct. Because
Like
the laws are different.
The laws are totally different. We're looking
So, like-
at every state individually, and we're actually saying, is it worth building a workforce in this state
Yeah.
based on the laws and the taxes
Right.
and all of that? I mean, it's
crazy.
It's great. It's absolutely
So
insane.
Florida didn't come out, I mean, I think thankfully at a state level and just say no smoking on beaches. They left it to the individual cities and towns.
Right.
Because there was laws on the books that basically said cities and towns couldn't ban smoking
Right.
on beaches. So Governor DeSantis lifted that ban to say, like, we're not saying you can't smoke, but it's going to be up to your local city or town to determine what that is. Now, they also put a provision in there. One of the legislators, I forget if it was congressperson or senator, put in there like cigars should not be part of this law.
Premium cigars should
not be part of this law because there's nothing in there that would impact the environment. There's a huge, they actually spent a lot of time in the article that I linked to, Jason, I don't know about yours as well, to talk about the cigar culture and economy in Tampa, specifically in Florida. And there was likely lobbyists from those local businesses that were like, can you not put cigars in there? Because we have people that travel to Tampa, which I want to do someday as well, to experience the cigar culture. And we don't want to have laws in the books and be like, oh, you can buy this nice cigar, visit a factory, but like don't try and go to a beach and smoke a cigar. Right. They also said the number of people that smoke cigars on the beach is pretty minimal anyway, so it wouldn't really have much impact, nor would it have any impact on the environment.
Yeah, I mean, this is right up the alley of conversations we had before about we have to separate the premium cigar industry from the overarching tobacco industry, right? Because it's different, and we have to treat it differently. Yeah. And this was, I loved seeing this. This is exactly the type of legislation I want to be seeing. Right. Because it's not a total ban. It leaves it up to cities and towns. So many times governments will come in with a hatchet, and they'll just put this legislation down that's this big hatchet.
There's a lot of like banning stuff.
It really is.
Like, did we not learn from prohibition? Like, I can just see like the next mafia, like dealing with straws and vape cartridges and plastic bags, right? Like there's gonna be an underground economy now.
Who needs cybercrime when you can sell straws on the street?
Right. You want some straws, man? I got a case of like 5,000 plastic straws. You need to stock up, right?
You could probably do $5 a piece walking through the streets of San Francisco.
Straws?
Oh yeah. Yo, man, I got your straw over here. It even bends.
I got red straws. I got green straws.
The ones that bend to $7, right? The ones that bend to $7, the straight ones.
Well, a lot of people are carrying the retractable metal straws. My issue with that is you got to clean those.
Yeah, they get all
like if I put it in there and some coffee that maybe got whatever, especially if it's got cream or milk or whatever in it, you got to clean those, and it's problematic. Now I got to take it home and clean it. Right? I just want a plastic straw that I can throw away. I don't know. Start looking at the science behind some of these laws, and there is no science to back it up.
In many instances.
Yeah, in a lot of instances, not every case. Right. Like the environmental impact of the cigarettes on the beaches. Like I understand that. Like that could be a thing. In any case, cruise ships were the other one I was concerned about because you go on a cruise, you want to have a cigar. You're on vacation, you want to have a cigar, and largely these cruise lines are like no smoking. And I'm like, no, does that mean I can't have it? And no, they still have cigar lounges on cruise lines. I'm like, thank God.
Right. They have smoking areas too.
Yeah, but a lot of them are getting away from these smoking areas, Joe, on the cruise ships. But do provide a cigar lounge, which I think is nice. Some of the cruises I've been on a long time ago now did have cigar lounges on the cruise ship, which I thought was great. Now, whether or not they're going to allow vaping or cigarettes in those cigar lounges, that's probably an individual choice. As everyone knows, usually I think 95% of the time, cigar lounges, no cigarettes. Like it's usually a sign like right on the door. Like this is not a place to vape or do or have cigarettes. Like this is cigars only. But those are most, the class, you get that 5% that maybe doesn't want to maintain that classiness, and that those rules go out the window. Yeah, and it is what it is.
I've been to cigar lounges that you have folks at the bar sitting at the bar smoking cigarettes, right? I don't know. What's your thought around that?
What, the bar and the cigarettes? Yeah, the cigar bar and cigarette. It's, to me, it's kind of this is the big problem, right? Because of the anti-smoking outside and cigar banning, cigar lounges have metamorphosized to bars you can smoke in. And oh, by the way, we sell cigars,
right?
And
there's a good number of those.
And they're running a liquor tab and doing the thing, and they're running the till. I'm kind of not for it, but if it's spaced out enough, then I guess I'm kind of for it. But like. In general,
I'm just if I'm at the bar and like there's people on the other side of me smoking cigarettes, I mean, it could impact but like if I'm sitting in a chair and they're at the bar and there's some distance, like I don't care. I don't even smell it, right?
Right,
And it
right,
also
right,
depends on the
right.
ventilation system as well.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but in general, I'm pretty
We're spoiled.
anti
I mean,
the idea.
the modern cigar lounges we have here in Rhode Island have these like amazing ventilation systems. So newer lounges have really come a long way in terms of ventilation. So
Yeah, I'm torn. You know what I mean? Because like what Joe said, you know, it's
we just talked about how we don't like banning things, right? And then
Yeah,
it's like,
right,
and then
right,
you're gonna
exactly.
ban, but
Exactly.
I mean, it is a cigar bar. It's not a smoking lounge,
Right.
and there are somewhere you can do that. And if you're okay with that, and you want to have a cigarette and sit at a bar, like I can't blame you for that either. Like,
right.
I love smoking. I love
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes was great. It was but really bad for you, really bad for you. But there is I get the appeal. You know what I mean? But not I think I would have liked to switch to cigars sooner, probably exclusively. I could never smoke a cigarette now though.
No, hell no.
I just couldn't.
No way.
That and they're like $10 a pack, $20 more than that. They're like ridiculously expensive. I'm like, I can buy like 5 cigars for what I can buy a pack of cigarettes for. You know,
Yeah. The price is insane, but they can get it.
Well,
Except if you wanna
they're
smoke
really like
menthol.
$6 a pack, but in Rhode Island, $4.50 is tax.
right. So what is this cigar cutter?
What one?
So it's called the Baller, and it's going to be released here soon. And I put it up here because I wanted to get your opinion on what you thought. It literally takes a cut, kind of like a melon ball cutter, like a melon ball.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to cut. That's how it's actually going to cut the cigar,
Oh,
like a melon ball.
Yeah, like it makes a
It's not, but it's
concave
not a
in-
V. It's not a V cut. It's
It's a
literally a ball,
That's pretty cool.
right?
I like the.
I don't know. I've
I've
looked
seen
at it. I'm
people-
like, I want to buy it just to try it.
It's from a company called Cigar Medics.
Yep. Which they make the
little
Cigar Medic
humidimeter.
humidimeter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been.
And they're
done
coming
that.
out with a new one too. It's in the article too. They're coming out
Yeah,
with a
I
new
haven't done
humidimeter.
that with my cigars, but I've seen some people posting online where
Yeah.
they like basically it's kind of like taking your temperature, but
Right.
they're taking a humidity check of the inside of the cigar. I think that's pretty cool. I mean,
It is.
and people go crazy with wine with the wine chillers, right?
Yeah.
Like
Sure,
depending on
yeah,
the kind of
Right.
They're like Todd has one, right? They're expensive, right? Like you take the wine out of your wine fridge,
Yep.
and then you put it in this cooler or warmer, right? Like it either heats or cools the wine to the right temperature for drinking.
Yeah.
And
Because
so
red wine's supposed to be slightly chilled. Like,
depends on what kind
Yeah,
of
depends
wine.
on what
Yeah.
kind and-
With- yeah.
and
All
what
right.
sort
So
of
here's the question for the table: what's optimal internal humidity for a cigar?
I mean, the picture's got,
Internal. We geek out on stuff, so we like to smoke meat, right?
Right.
And we know, like, I have probes for internal temperature of
Correct,
meat
correct.
because I want to make sure we're smoking the meat, and it's 145 for my you know what I mean,
yeah.
for my loin
I
or
got
whatever.
the meter.
Yes, exactly it.
meter's
Right? All right.
awesome.
So, question for the table: if we go out and we buy one of those, what's optimal internal humidity for a cigar?
I mean, well, in the picture it says 66.2. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably be below 70, but above 65.
Somewhere in
know?
that range.
Somewhere in that range would be my guess.
Yeah.
It's hard because like I'm gauging it by ambient humidity in my
That's
humidor, but for smoking, I don't know.
Joe's laughing because we're just geeking out on this shit.
That's a good question though. Like, what should the internal? Because ambient humidity and internal humidity are two totally different things.
They are. That's right. My
But you don't wanna-
smoker's running at 225, but I want the inside of that pork loin to be 145.
Right.
Right.
So like, what is the optimum internal
exactly.
humidity? How much does it matter though? Like, what's
don't
too
know.
dry and what's too moist? I said there was no way of me saying that without getting a look from the Stogie Geeks crew.
Because I just picture my wife going, "What'd you just say?"
But I think I've smoked cigars that I'm like, that didn't have enough humidity, and I smoked some that I'm like, that probably had too much humidity, right? So I think testing is not a bad idea. Would I do that with every cigar I smoke? There's also something to let them rest outside your humidor before you smoke them,
Right.
Kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I mean, how many cigars have we smoked and we just haven't bothered to take its humidity before we smoked it, and the thousands of cigars we've all smoked.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like totally fine. I don't know. Like if you find some that you have to relight all the time, like it'd be an interesting experiment.
Totally.
To see if that humidity was higher than other cigars internally, and
Yeah,
is
I mean,
that why?
I think about it this way: like, Joe has his cigar Bible, and if he looked before he smoked, he took the internal humidity, wrote it down, and then Figured out how it smoked. Did I have to relight it 10 times? Well, why? Was the humidity too high? Was it
But
too low?
relighting can
matters.
also be construction as well,
True.
right? Because the blender and then the rollers who implement that, they place certain tobacco at certain points within the cigar to maintain an even and consistent burn. If they don't do that correctly, that could be why you're relighting your cigar. It could not be related to internal humidity. It'd be interesting to, you could scientifically study that. This could be a study that we publish.
This is called Stogie Geeks for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're all about telemetry, we're all about data, we're all about figuring that stuff out down to the nuance. And doing that level of an experiment.
Like, how do you know? If it's either the construction or
that's it,
the choices of what tobacco go where, or if it's related to humidity or some combination of the two? Or did the roller mess up and put the tobacco in the wrong spot for a day?
I mean, there's so many.
What if one day he was like, "Oh, that was supposed to go more towards the front and not towards the back"? Like, oops.
Right. I mean, so many times you see posts where someone tries a cigar, then man, this cigar sucked.
Like it didn't stay lit.
It didn't stay lit.
As we know, relighting ruins the
I'll go
experience.
smoke that same stick that's been sitting 90 days in my humidor. And I'm like, this cigar was awesome. It was absolutely because I took care of it. You know what I mean? And could that be a component?
I want to order.
I'm going to buy one.
I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy one now.
That's right.
I am. And it's a cool cutter. Like I want to try it. I think it looks really cool.
Get the baller.
Now you're going to have like a whole kit, like a stand.
That's right.
You got the cool stand.
Yeah, you got the cool stand.
You got the cool. It's a cutter and a stand.
Do I want this cat eye or V cut or bald or frickin' or balled or whatever you want to put up? I imagine
some of the crazy cutters. Some of the crazy cutters out there are like. No.
Getting back to the poker, it's like 25 minutes before. So you pull out 5 cigars. You sit in the cigar shop. You poke it. That one's not ready. You poke it. That was not ready. You poke it. Okay, this is it. Then you make
66.2.
Come on, asshole, smoke the cigar already.
By the time you sit down, I mean, you want to talk about a transition. Like it's crazy. I think it's cool, but like it's too
There's
much.
a spectrum, man. Like I was fishing the other day, and I didn't have a cutter, so I had to use my pocket knife.
Nice.
I have one of those.
Well, you've got one that's specifically designed for
It's a cigar.
cigars.
I have a story about that thing.
No, I literally used my pocket knife.
Try to shave with it.
I mean, it was a torpedo. Like I chose it was a torpedo bellicoso.
Yeah.
Came to a point.
Yeah.
At the end, like a very distinct point at the end, and so I was able to. I mean, it wasn't the greatest cut, right? But it got the job done, and I lit it with a torch lighter that I had in my fishing bag, right?
Yeah.
And then there's what Joe's talking about, where you're at the lounge and you got your humidity gauge and your stand, and your special cutter and your special lighter, and the whole. So
did you have to use the pocket knife to cut like a fishing line beforehand? So
you probably
you get a little bit of a lake swamp.
Yeah, got a little swamp. It had a little extra flavor. Some people dip them in cognac. It's little pond scum.
Little pickle juice.
Pickle juice. It's good. And a very fishy flavor.
Also, getting back on the what is it called? The probe, right? The cigar probe. But I would imagine, like, if you're smoking something like a Casa Magna or a Black Label that tend to run wet, or a Colorado wrapper that tend to run wet.
That's on the wrapper though, not the filler.
Yeah, but the humidity level would have to be different than what you would be deviate as your standard norm.
I'm interested to ask people who have used these devices, like what.
Is there anybody out there on the board?
I think Jason brings a great question.
Message us. Let us know.
What's your range of humidity?
Right.
Like, what do you find?
Internal humidity.
I think it's a good thing because sometimes I question my own humidor. Like, is it running optimally? Right. And I don't know. You kind of over time you get I don't need the hygrometer. Like I can just tell by squeezing the cigars. If I have mold on them, I know I got a problem. You know what I mean? If I squeeze it and there's a lot of crackling noises, not good.
But listen, for us executives out there, that's called a lag measure. We want the lead measure. We want to know before there's mold on the cigar.
Correct.
Or before the cigar cracks. Right? Yeah. We want those lead measures to tell us. So we can save our stash.
If you came in with 5 cigars and your probe wasn't the optimum thing, what measures you use for administrative stopgaps?
Meaning calibrated?
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be a way to calibrate it.
I don't know.
Listen, if they're giving me a probe and there's no way to calibrate it, then forget it. I'm not buying it. You got to be able to calibrate the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But then what if you got really into it? Would you smoke one without it? Like not knowing? Like would it kill you?
Yeah, then you'd be like, oh,
You'd be
I can't test
I wonder
the-
if this is 66 or 8 or 70.
Right?
Listen, 80-20 rule. If like 10 of those were good, I know the
Yeah,
rest of them are
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that could really send you down like a
Rabbit hole. Total rabbit
Oh,
hole.
like Edgar Allan Poe rabbit hole.
Well, I
Like,
don't know. I
could
don't
be
know. I
like,
don't go that
you could be
crazy.
like Fall of House of Usher. Like,
know.
do I smoke this cigar now? or
I'll throw
wait?
that shit in the trash before I go that crazy.
So are expensive cigar lighters worth it?
I haven't bought one Well, define expensive.
So DuPont, they're talking about like 1,000. So in this article, I had the same question. So it says you can spend over $1,000 on a fancy soft flame DuPont lighter made of precious metals, Chinese lacquer, right? Like the whole thing. So they have a jet torch lighter, which starts at around $150. I'd still say that's expensive.
150 is still expensive.
It's still expensive for a
Yeah,
lighter. So
yeah.
like expensive, we'll set the bar at 150 to over 1,000. That's expensive. I have to say, where I'm at with this one is I went on Amazon. Do I have?
Yeah, mine's an Amazon lighter too, and I love
I got a
it.
couple of Amazon lighters. I'll call them Amazon lighters, but so I don't have the one that I got like a whole pack of. So like I got these single flame
Yeah.
lighters, really inexpensive. This is another single flame. You know, these both were bought off Amazon. I've got another model that looks different from these two that I bought on Amazon, and you can buy a pack of 6 for like $20. In my
Send
first,
me that link, brother.
so my first package didn't arrive, and so I emailed the vendor on Amazon,
Yeah.
and they were like, "We'll ship you another one out." I'm like, "Well, what if the other one comes in?" They're like, "That's fine. It costs us more money."
Yeah.
You know the whole deal, right?
Yeah,
it costs
totally.
more money for me to return it and then process the return and pay the shipping on the
Yeah.
return than it does for them to just send me 2 of it is actually beneficial to the company.
Yeah.
So I ended up with 2 of these packs. I look it up for the sake of the show. Turbo Blue Torch Stick Multi-Purpose. It was a 6-pack. Now they're $38.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's $38 for 6 of them, right? So what are they? Roughly six and change a piece, right, for your lighter. So like if I lose it, like it was
No worries.
not 150 or 1,000, right?
You dropped it in the lake while you're
$6.
fishing. No worries.
$6. Turbo Blue Torch Stick Multi-Purpose Refillable Butane Lighter 6-pack. 6 and change a piece. It has a bottle opener on it.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So you can open your beer with it, right? So it's dual
Yeah.
purpose. So I got 12 of these, and I just put them everywhere. I put a few in the car, a few in the office, a few
put
in
a
my
few
fish
in the
bag,
car.
right? Like I have backups. Like if one
Just in case
fails,
I need
like
to open a
throw it
beer.
out. Like I'm like I refilled it. It's still. I'm like just throw it out. Like and then order another $38
Yeah,
worth, and I've got 6 that I can put wherever. And so yeah, and it comes with a bottle opener, which is handy. Like
Pretty cool.
yeah, so that.
So yeah, mine's Amazon. Mine's Amazon as well. It's a triple torch.
You
It's a
got
triple torch.
that's a much nicer Amazon.
It's $16.99.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad at all. You know what I mean? And this is my go-to. Like it never fails me. Never fails.
I'll put one in
me
my
at all.
laptop bag, so when I go to the lounge,
Yeah.
I have my own lighter, and it stays in my bag, so I always have my own lighter.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with cutters, too. I think I bought a Havana next door, 20 Ashton-branded plastic cutters.
Yeah.
So then again, one goes, I didn't put one in my fishing bag, obviously. I need to get that, right? I just
Yeah.
put those in all the places where you'd smoke cigars, and now I have a cutter and a lighter. Now, it's not the best cutter and lighter, but like I have one. I think having one versus not is,
totally.
is totally a thing.
Yep.
And so where I'm at with the expensive lighters, like I'm not a fan.
No,
like
no
I'd
way.
rather buy, because I've had so many different lighters, right? And we get a lot of them free and sent here. Like
Right.
tabletop ones are nice.
I love the spray paint can.
This is the coolest lighter
I
ever.
love being an old school graffiti artist back
Yeah.
in the day. I love that.
So Drew Estate, I don't know if some of our listeners might have seen it. Drew Estate, it's a spray paint can. It makes the noise like a spray paint can, but it's a single flame
That's
torch
badass.
lighter. I don't know how much fluid you can put in here. It's quite a bit. I mean, it's not the whole chamber, right?
Yeah.
But it's quite a bit of fluid. And it's like really cool.
I just
like,
want it as a tchotchke
Like,
because-
it's like a novelty thing, man. Like it's totally cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it as a tchotchke guy back in the day. I mean, I used to.
But I've had
I
a
used
lot
to
of
do
the-
a little graffiti back in the day.
Like $30 to $80 lighters that just fail.
Yeah, Totally.
I'm not going to name names.
No,
but we probably all had this, like the $30 to $80 lighter that works for a few months,
right?
And then until it doesn't. Also, the Vertigo by Lotus is my other one, and you've probably seen these. If I had one, I'd hold it up. I have one not on this set, but you've seen it. It's hard to like describe what it looks like, but if you search for Vertigo by Lotus, you'll see it. It's a triple flame torch lighter. You get 3 of these for $21. So again, it's in that $6 to $7 price range.
Right there.
Yeah, they work great. Do I have, Joe's got one.
Yeah.
There you go. So
beautiful.
those are Vertigo. Those are, hold up for the camera, Joe. Those are $7 a piece on Amazon.
Yep.
So I buy some of those too.
Right.
I keep those are nice to keep in your pocket. Like the other one is like this long cylinder. The ones I described before, like this long cylinder kind of thing. The Vertigo is one that I'll just keep in my pocket. To have a lighter. And
What's that other lighter that everybody likes? It's a big canister. It almost looks like a little flamethrower.
Oh, that's by Alec Bradley.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's by Alec. It's like a Bunsen burner.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
A Bunsen.
I
burner. Exactly it.
I
You got it.
having a table lighter. Like if I have my man cave or whatever, I like having like a dedicated tabletop, like something you couldn't keep in your pocket. It holds a ton of fluid.
That's more of a showpiece and holds a ton of fluid.
You don't just spend a lot of.
Right,
the problem is I haven't spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah.
And they break. Right.
Right.
So I'd like a really good quality.
Yeah.
To just leave, because I'm not worried about losing those. That's where. So like I have one really expensive cutter, and I forget the name of
define expensive.
I can't remember the name of it. It was $150, $200 for the cutter.
All right. So
these
are $1.69.
It's a hunk of metal. That's $169.
$169 for these.
For those knives.
The lace fiends.
So this one I keep in my desk.
It's France.
I wish I could remember the name of the company now. I can't remember the name of the company.
Yeah.
But anyway, they make a custom one. Like you go there and you customize it, and it's like really thick metal.
Yep.
And I keep that on my desk. Yeah. It doesn't leave my desk because I know if I put it in my pocket, I'm going to lose it, right? Or if I bring it to a store and someone's going to pick up and walk off with it or whatever.
Right. I'm always afraid of losing this. Now, granted, I kept my eyeballs on that website, and right around Christmas time, they dropped a bunch of these to like $79.
Oh, nice.
So I grabbed this one. It was like $80.
That's good.
Right?
So, I would pay $80
but they're like $149, $159, $169 when you go on the site.
Yeah. Mine has like the Mappa Cuba on the blade.
Yeah, so you got the blade.
The blade with the Mappa Cuba.
And you can buy extra. The blades aren't that bad.
Yeah.
The blades aren't that bad at all.
Yeah.
And you can get them engraved.
Yep. Yeah.
They're cool. I dig it. I like it.
So I'm not into the really expensive lighters.
Really? How much does one of those Alec Bradley go for? Do you know?
Those things are like $28 or something like that.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really?
It's the Alec Bradley Bunsen burner.
Oh,
that's the Bunsen burner one that I got before?
There it is right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
I think this
The
is a
burner.
pretty decent.
It's called The Burner by Alec Bradley. It's on Amazon for $35.
$35.
Yeah.
$35. Yeah. It's nice. I like it.
The thing with that is you got to make sure that when you turn it off, that you turn it off all the way.
Yes.
Like the mechanism, because it's like a knob that, turns the butane on.
Yeah.
And if you don't turn it all the way, it'll slowly leak butane out. So as long as you turn it off every time, they do work great. And it is a great it does hold, like, you get a lot of cigar lights out of it. And for $35, I think that's a good tabletop lighter.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's cool looking. I like it.
So what we're saying is you don't need to spend a lot on lighters and cutters. I mean, they are cool to have, like the nicer ones and the novelty ones.
I'd rather take that money and buy cigars with it.
Yeah, I'd rather have like the plastic cutter that I use for a few months and throw it out and get a new freebie with it, and the $6-7 almost disposable kind of lighters that you keep in your golf bag, your laptop bag, your fishing bag, and you have them. That's where I'm at. There is that middle ground though. And the middle ground is tempting. However, I haven't had much luck in that $30 to $80 range. I had a really nice, I'm trying not to name manufacturers, right? But like I had one that had a cutter and was a triple flame torch lighter. It was the perfect lighter for your pocket. They're like $80 to $100.
Yeah.
And it had
Is it the one that has a cigar stand too?
No, this one had a cutter that folds out.
Okay.
And so it's a regular guillotine cutter, straight cutter. And it folds back in. It kind of has like grooves in the lighter, so it folds in. It sits flush, and it had a triple flame lighter, and then like it broke. I mean, I could probably maybe get it serviced or whatever. Like it broke, but if I could get one that was reliable, keeping that in my pocket was awesome, because then you just got one thing you stick in your pocket, and you got your cutter and lighter, and it's great, and you have it wherever you go. But
Yeah. And by the way, I'm through the first third.
yeah, how's
and
your cigar doing?
It's ramping up on the flavor, buddy. It really, really is. You know, I'm getting more of that leathery flavor, a little bit of earthy tones to it, but it's ramping up.
It's good. Like, the flavors aren't
No, that
pronounced.
right. Smooth.
Again, I think I waited a little too long. Yeah. Where did I want to go next? Drew Estate has the Liga Privada 10 anniversary, which is now regular production. Have you guys smoked this before? It's $18.30 MSRP. Comes in boxes of 10. I don't know if there's a review.
This is the black label one, right? Yeah.
This has a black label on it.
Yeah.
Yup.
Black
And
band.
let's see if I can get the blend information. It is USA Connecticut Criollo wrapper, Mexican binder, and Nicaraguan and USA Pennsylvania filler.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very.
It makes me want to try it, actually.
Agreed.
Pennsylvania filler is interesting. Interesting. Strong, from what I remember. Like, it can pack a wallop from the Pennsylvania filler. Yeah, so I haven't smoked. None of us have smoked this one.
No.
Got a pretty
not
good
yet.
review from Half Wheel. I don't know. Now I kind of want to try it.
Stick chaser. You want me to go find him?
Well, they're regular production now, so
All right,
hopefully
so
we
you
don't have
can
to
get 'em
chase.
anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
hopefully we don't
Right.
have to chase as much, right?
Right.
Yeah, they'll probably be next door over Havana for sure.
Yeah, we should be able to find some.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. I haven't really looked for them either. So yeah, we'll try them and report back next month.
You know where I want to go next? I want to go to that advent calendar.
Dude, that looks amazing.
Because here's the thing. The game dinner that I went to that you weren't able to go to this past year,
Yeah.
it was Oliva. And it was right before Christmas.
Yes.
And they had this. They had last year's
did they-
advent calendar.
were
They
they-
were selling it.
Oh, they were selling.
They were selling it.
How much do these things go for?
I want to say it was like $170.
Okay, so 220 MSRP is what they say on
180. But
yeah.
I mean, obviously they were doing a deal for the dinner, and
Okay.
I want to say maybe 180, something like that. But they were selling the advent calendar there. It was really cool.
25 cigars.
I'll put a picture. I took a picture. I'm going to put it on the Discord.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Okay, so they got a Connecticut Reserve, a Series G, a Series O, a Series V, a Milano, a Cane, and a Nub. I mean,
I totally, Paul. I just
it's not like a bad, like, I've ever, like, I'm not a huge fan of the Connecticut Reserve, but like,
Yeah.
okay, like, if I had the Advent calendar, like, I'd smoke one. Like, and the rest of their stuff is pretty good. Like, I'll buy Series G and Series O just to have in the humidor as, like, everyday kind of smoking cigars, right? Like, the Series G with some age on it, actually, there's a lot in the Series G because they got Maduro and they've got the natural wrapper. They've got like a box pressed Series G that I've got in the humidor. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah. I take a lot of fucking cigar pictures, guys. I'm just,
bet.
holy shit. It's pretty funny.
Also, last year's release included 2 cigars the company does not regularly sell. Oh, I see the pictures
Yeah,
of it
yeah.
now. Okay. I think that's pretty cool.
It
Like,
is. I think I'm
wouldn't-
going to buy it next time.
I wouldn't
honestly.
wait. I wouldn't wait for Christmas to smoke any of that stuff, though. I'd start smoking.
Of
them,
course.
right? Like I would just start smoking them. Right. The Milano's great.
Yep.
Great cigar.
Good go-to right there.
The Nub Cameroon actually isn't a bad cigar. I'm not a huge fan of the Nub line, but in the Cameroon, it's a great cigar. It's a great morning cigar, I think, in the Cameroon. I had a box. I don't know. We might have smoked them all. So the ones I put in the general humidor here in the studio,
Yeah.
they get smoked.
They get ripped.
They get smoked. And I had some Nub Cameroons in there, and they're great. Yeah, so I don't know.
I will invest.
I'd buy one.
I'll definitely
I'd
invest next
buy
time.
one.
No doubt.
I think it's a good idea. Don Lino Africa. Do you guys remember that? Joe,
Still-
you must remember that brand from like late
smoking
90s.
them.
right?
If you go to any of the shops that Anthony owns locally, yeah, he's
What was the
big
deal
on
with the Don Lino? I feel like it was one of those cigars that was really, man, I might be getting confused with something else.
it was reintroduced.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
But it was like really, it was a big brand in the like late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing, I want to say.
was it because of the African Cameroon? No,
I know. I flagged it because like I remembered it. I didn't do the research on it. there's like people I could ask that aren't here. But there's like a history behind it. Oh, emerged in 2006 following a safari. The company president Nestor Miranda took to Africa. Created a cigar with the African theme. That's what it was. That's what it was. The cigars, according to some of my friends, were never great.
Yeah.
But the boxes were amazing. Like the box work, like the artwork on the boxes was absolutely amazing. Like they were the most beautiful boxes to come out on the market. And so people would take the boxes and like use them at home and stuff like that.
Huh.
And now there's a humidor coming out. Which, this doesn't have, no, it does have a picture. Yeah, and it's like really cool looking kind of humidor with Don Lino Africa on it. That's what it was. But the cigars were never that great. That's how I remember it now. I don't think I've ever smoked one.
So would you buy it for the box?
No, so this is a humidor.
You buy it for the humidor.
So
what's the price point? Because we talked about expensive humidors before too.
$350.
All right.
14 by 10 by 6 humidor, removable tray.
Yeah.
Making just 150 of them. So yeah, like if you were digging the artwork on the Don Lino Africa and had gotten some of the empty cigar boxes, now you can buy it in a humidor. It's pretty cool. There's like a bunch of animals on the top and stuff. It's really, really cool looking. I don't know. Again, I'd rather buy cigars.
Seriously. Just saying.
I think cabinets are the way to go with cigar. I mean, for as many cigars as we buy.
Yeah, I'm totally digging my Coolador though. But
yeah,
I mean that tops that.
Coolador's great.
Well, I mean I got it fits 300, right? But you can get them that fit 1,000. I dig it, man. I like it.
How much are the Cooladors going for now? I want to say they're not much in the $350 price range.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, 350 or something like that.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a Coolador than a single.
I found the picture. You see it?
Yeah.
Oh, is that
the Advent calendar?
Of the Advent calendar.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that this year's or last year's?
That's last year's.
Last year's had some special cigars in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is the second year that they're doing it.
It is, yeah. Good old social media, baby.
That's it. What else? Oh, Quesada Oktoberfest. Coming back out.
It was great with age.
They look totally different. They redid the whole bands on them. It still has like a little flavor of the old band in the middle. But these are good cigars. But see, they're not making the Bavarian. Might be the Robusto. They made a short Robusto. There was a different. They made a short Robusto and a Petite Corona, I want to say, in the old Oktoberfest line, and those were the smaller sizes were my favorites. The Bavarian 5.5 by 52. That's more like a regular Robusto, not a short. I don't remember what the original line was exactly on the sizes. But I liked the short Robusto in the Oktoberfest. And I believe they had a Corona, Petite Corona in the Oktoberfest. It was really good. So we'll see. I would suggest trying the Bavarian 5.5 by 52. Just based on history. But I don't know if they tweaked the blend or not. Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Dominican binder, and filler. I always like the Oktoberfest. You're right, Joe. They are good with age.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously they come out around the big festival. So you can get them online around January for a good price too.
Yeah.
When they want to do like a box blowout.
It's the seasonal edition, 2022 seasonal edition.
Yeah, it used to have a blue wrapper, and now it looks like it changed to red, but the shield's the same. Like
right, they still have that shield on there, yeah.
So
with the German flag, right? Yeah. Good stuff.
They're saying it goes well with beer, but I don't really.
Yeah, I think there are
cigars.
Yeah, but I think there's some. So I was skeptical, and then it was CAO that had sent us beer and cigars. I think they sent us the beer and the cigars with pairing recommendations. They're like, look, smoke this cigar with this beer. And tell you what, every single pairing they were spot on.
Yeah,
changed my whole perspective on cigars and beer. I think it goes well together. And I used to think lighter beers did not go well with cigars, but they proved me wrong. Especially like a wheat beer.
Yeah.
A good wheat beer and cigar, like it does go together. It does.
I'm all in.
I
on
don't
the-
drink a lot of beer.
Yeah, I drink a lot of beer, but I'm all in on the IPAs. So
So you're an IPA guy.
I'm an
huh?
IPA.
I think they
Yeah,
all
really
kind of
am.
taste the same, though.
No.
I don't know. I just the hops. I'm kind of done with the IPAs. Like it's just
I can't get
that's
enough.
a really good IPA.
I can't get enough.
What's your favorite IPA?
It's called Dogs and Boats by Beard. They're Connecticut.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
from Connecticut. Right outside of Mystic. Really
Dogs
good.
and you can
Dogs
get that
Boats.
locally here
Yep.
in the liquor stores.
Yep.
Dogs.
Just
and
had one
Boats.
yesterday.
I like Lunch by Maine Beer Company.
Lunch.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to text you guys when I'm in the liquor store. Now. I want to
yeah,
be texting.
it's
you.
good.
What about? Because the IPA selection now is crazy in the liquor
Well, because
store.
you got hazy, you got lazy, you got New England,
Double
East
IPAs.
Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
The West Coast IPA that is, but it's more mainstream now. By Founders is real. It's
Founders is good.
all day IPA.
All
or,
day IPA.
You know what I
They
mean?
get the
It's-
no, that's Dogfish Head. That has a 60-minute and 90-minute.
yeah, and 120. Yeah,
yeah,
that's all
the
good.
the 90 and 120s, you almost have to drink in like they serve it in like the
Yeah.
goblet kind of glasses
yeah.
Because they don't want you to get hammered.
because it's high alcohol. But it's
That's
really
why.
good. I mean, IPAs tend to not go with cigars though, because that hoppiness and that sour usually doesn't pair well with a cigar. Like a margarita and a cigar like doesn't go together. I think you need the more sweet and savory kind of things or a refreshing kind of thing, like a mojito.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, mojito has lime in it,
But
but
they
it also has sugar in it as
They
well.
have citrusy IPAs, like,
Yes.
and I dig that with a cigar.
You got to really dig into IPAs to find ones
You
that
do.
are good.
You do.
You
and,
got to.
and this is an IPA body right here. This is the body of an IPA drinker right here.
Now, one thing, in some of my friends and family were telling me about this, like it's a TikTok video or whatever, showing how to pour beer. Like, apparently, we've been doing it all wrong.
Yep.
Right? We've
So
been doing it all
preach,
wrong.
brother. Preach, brother. How do we do it?
So normally, like, you'd pour it slow into the glass, like the whole beer.
Yeah.
You tilt the glass to the side,
Yeah.
and then you pour the beer in, so you don't get a lot of head
Yeah.
in the glass. Apparently, that gives you like more like gas and bloating when you drink it. So what they say to do is pour a little bit on the side and then pour really hard the rest of the beer,
Yeah.
so you get some head in it, and that expels a lot of the gases, right?
The carbonation?
The carbonation,
Yeah.
and it tastes great. I've tried this at home, and I'm like, I actually kind of like life
And you
changing.
don't get beer bloat.
And you don't get as much beer bloat.
Really?
They did something with the paper towel, right?
Yeah.
You pour a regular beer like you normally would, and then you put a paper towel in it, and it like explodes, and the foam goes everywhere. If you pour just a little bit and then the whole thing, it doesn't do that when you put the paper towel in it.
No
I'm like,
kidding.
Oh, it's kind of interesting.
Huh.
So I mean, I've been
I'm gonna have to try
because
it.
that's why I don't drink a lot of beer, because you eat it with food, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're so bloated, right?
Normally, the way I pour beer is straight from the can into my mouth.
Yeah, but I think that creates a lot of the carbonation,
Totally,
though.
yeah, totally.
You know, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm gonna try it.
You're
I'm gonna try it because
Let me know
that's
what
the.
you think.
Let me tell you, a day after a bunch of IPAs, oof, talk about beer bloat and just oh my god.
Yeah, your gut doesn't feel good
No,
the next day.
totally not. Totally
Yeah.
not.
So I don't know. Try it.
Yeah, I will tonight.
Yeah. Because like I said, if the
Absolutely.
IPA is done really well, like it has just the crispness, and it has like a little bit of that nice hoppiness to it, like lightly hopped. Those IPAs I enjoy.
Yeah.
But like 90% of them, like they're just throwing a whole ton of hops in there.
And
That's all you taste. Is
honestly, we are so spoiled up here in New England with the amount of microbreweries and I mean, such good beer coming out of New England right now. Really, really good.
I went to what's the one near Nilo, near the mall? What's that one called?
Proclamation.
No, it's Apponog Brewery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Apponog
Yep,
Brewery.
Yep.
That one I went there with my brother-in-law, and we tried a lot of the beers on the menu.
Yep.
And there wasn't one we didn't like. Like they were all good, and their
Right,
food
right.
is good there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that place a lot. Actually,
I'll have to try. I've never been there.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it?
You should try it, especially if you like beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you and I ended up at the same restaurant that day,
Yes.
across the street is Tilted Barn.
Oh, okay.
Right across the street from that restaurant that we were at. We just appeared. I
it's
had my
across-
son. I'm like, let's go grab some lunch. You were coming from a soccer game.
Yes.
And all of a sudden we're sitting next to each other.
Right.
It just
Yeah, we did. We got tables next to each
totally
other.
like
It was really fun.
so random. And they
Their food was really good there, by the
Yeah,
way.
it
What
is.
was the name of that restaurant?
Back 40.
Back 40.
And it's
a great
Miss
restaurant.
Universe's Olivia Copo restaurant.
Yeah.
So Olivia Copo won Miss Universe. She's a Rhode Islander. And she opened up a few restaurants. She just opened up the one on Main Street, too, in East Greenwich. She opened up a restaurant there,
What's that
brand
one
new.
called?
Something, a grill on Main, maybe? It's something on
No,
Main.
it's not.
Something on Main. It's
We just went there.
Did you?
My wife and I went there.
Was it good?
That's really good, too. Not a kid place, but
no, same family, same restaurant owner. She's in on that one
the
as well.
the food was really
The
good
food
there.
was really good. The beer there is really good. But right across the street,
I had Bloody Marys, but
no, I had beer. Of course. Straight across the street is a microbrewery called Tilted Barn. And back in the old farm, right? I mean, you go way, way back.
right, it's all farms. This is
Like
sod farms are right on that road. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to go to like a quarter mile back before you get to it. Back in the day, they were selling beer out of literally a tilted barn. It was an old barn, dilapidated.
They serve food there now too.
So what they do is they bring in food trucks.
Okay.
They'll bring in food trucks, and you can
Yep.
get food there. They have a whole outside area, fire pit.
Yep.
Like my son and I will go throw a football out in the field over there while
Sure.
we're going in and grabbing. But they built a brand new barn, 2 floors.
Yep.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous back there. I remember back in the day, there used to be lines going all the way up that main road.
Yes.
It's called Route 2 here in Rhode Island. Lines of cars waiting to just go
Wow.
get a 4-pack.
Okay. I'll have to try it.
It's really, really good.
I'll have to try it. My wife was talking about that.
It's a good like
Going there.
afternoon hangout.
Yeah.
Right? You go there, hang out. Lots of people sitting outside. You can go inside. Really good beer.
I have to check it out.
Yeah. We're spoiled here though. I mean, you can go anywhere in New England and find a good microbrewery.
We have a new local one in town called Pivotal. in
Okay.
Bristol.
Yeah.
It's an old factory and been converted and super cool. Good stuff. You can BYOF, so
Bring your own food,
bring
baby.
your own food and hang out, and they have a food truck there sometimes,
Yep.
like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that, and whatnot. And yeah, it's super cool.
We've always had a lot of good. I mean, Trinity Brew House has been in Rhode
Totally.
Island
God,
in
it's
Providence
staple.
forever. I mean, I went there when I was
You're
in college.
absolutely
Yeah,
right.
right.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough spot.
So we have been spoiled here in Rhode Island to have good food and beer.
Good food and good beer.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And a lot of cigar lounges now,
Right.
here in Rhode Island.
So
good lord!
So
You
come
can't-
visit. Come visit Rhode Island.
Come
right.
visit Rhode Island.
It's a hidden gem. Beautiful beaches, beautiful ocean, great food.
Most people go to Newport when they visit.
They'll
Rhode
go to
Island,
Newport because
which
they want to be on the
totally fine.
ocean. Yep.
I tell you what, I love the Mooring. It's one of my
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
restaurants
yeah,
in
very good.
Newport.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, come visit. Seriously, it's a hidden gem. And you won't be spending
And
all
now-
that crazy money going on vacation. You'll come here and you'll
My
have
friend
a blast.
Evan, Saltzman's Watches, he carries Davidoff in his high-end watch store
Really?
in Newport. He moved into a new building.
Yep. Put a humidor in.
And now he sells Davidoff cigars.
That's
and he sells
awesome.
like really high-end
Watches. Yeah, totally.
And he
Totally.
knows his stuff. I bring all my watches to Evan.
Yeah.
And he services all of the watches and whatever, right? So
I mean, if the listeners don't know, Newport, Rhode Island is like mansion haven. I
Yes.
mean, the richest of the rich put mansions out there.
But there's no cigar lounge in Newport though, because the Humidor.
there's one in
right?
Middletown.
There's one in Middletown.
One in Middletown.
So you go to
right next door.
Middletown.
Right next door.
So Middletown and Newport are right next door to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right.
So you
on
don't
the
have to go
line.
far.
What's the
on
one
the-
in Middletown called?
It's called Breakwater's
Breakwater.
Cigar
Okay.
and Whiskey Lounge.
Yep.
And it's located on Aquindic Avenue. Yep. And super cool. And they.
How
and
far is that from downtown Newport? What?
It's when you pass the
15?
first beach.
Yeah.
It's 3 minutes past the beach.
Yeah, it's close.
So it's even
man.
shorter than like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, no
okay.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So it's right there. It's on Aquindic Avenue. It's if you take East Main or West Main Road, either off the highway or whichever, you can get to it.
Yeah.
It's one of the throughways there.
Nice.
And
great hotels in Newport.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Wonderful hotels.
We
great
actually
places
stayed there
to go
once for
visit.
Mother's Day. We stayed at
Yeah.
a local little hotel up the street from the mall. Like literally one of those side streets.
Right.
You go uphill. I forget the name of the hotel. It was fabulous. And we walked down and had dinner at the Mooring.
Yep.
And I tell you, it's a destination for people here in Rhode Island too.
was
Now you
gonna
get a
say,
cigar
totally
lounge
is.
right in Middletown. I mean,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Come,
you can get
come,
your
come
Davidoff
visit.
cigars right there and visit my friend Evan.
Yep. Seriously, I mean,
spend
we
a
don't
few
promote our
$1,000
state enough. We really
spend
don't.
a few $1,000s on a watch. You're gonna
buy a Davy.
Then
Buy a Davy while you're
Davidoff.
there. But no, I mean, it's a hidden gem that people don't know. I mean, they don't know about Rhode Island, and we don't do a good enough job promoting the tourism side of the island.
Right.
Where, I mean, you have people who come here from all over the country. They'll go to college in Rhode Island, and they never leave
Right.
because they realize what a hidden gem it is.
Right.
And they talk about the food, they talk about the beaches, they talk about all the places to go have fun.
I tell you what, though, Mr. J's
Mr.
Havana
J's
Smoke Shop
is awesome.
We haven't talked much about the newer experiences we've had there. Their events, talk about food and drink and cigars. What a destination that is.
But you want to know what? This is what
crap.
Joe
That
and I
game-
talk
remember
about
the
all the
game
time.
dinner? Oh
Game
my
dinners.
God,
It's the
it's-
experience, right?
Yes.
The modern day cigar lounge isn't come in, buy a cigar, sit down, get up and leave. It's you got to have the experience. And Mr. J's
beer-
does it right.
They
do it
a
right.
huge selection of beer if you're a beer person. They have a huge selection of whiskey. I mean, we ran up a tab. Dr. Doug and I ran up
my
a tab on that. On
Well,
the
I
whiskey.
told you the game dinner. I had me and my buddy had our wives drop us off. One of
Yes.
the wives drop us off, and we Ubered home because we knew it was going to be full of whiskey. It was going to be full of beer.
And the
it was
food
gonna
at
be
their events is amazing.
oh my god,
They actually cook. So
Incredible.
Tom Joyle will smoke some of the stuff himself, and Malonzi's is the place they use, and like the food is amazing.
It is
Jason and I
absolutely
went to 2 separate events and had an amazing experience.
Yep.
So
Yep. It's wonderful. I can't wait till the next. And I'm
we need to
upset.
plan it. We need to plan.
We need
a
to
trip.
plan one, right?
I'm
And-
bad
and-
at. You know me. I'm bad at planning. Like I'm bad at it.
See, I've gotten really bad at paying attention to when they're posting the events.
Because they sell out fast.
They sell out
which is an
so
indication
fast.
that they're doing
and
a
like
really good job.
3 days later, I look
Yeah.
at it. And I'm like, oh my god,
Sold out.
they already posted sold out.
Yeah.
So we got to get ahead of the game. We got to
Yes.
get a list. We got to get a future events list.
We got it. We're all pretty technical people. This is doable.
Seriously, seriously.
This is a doable thing.
Yeah, it's called an email.
You get
Paul.
an email.
I know, but you got to pay attention. You know how
as
many
a
emails
member,
I get?
I know they send you an email because they send me one for Stogie Geeks
I
too.
do.
so.
But by the time we read it, it's it's sold out.
Email is noise to me now.
It's a lot
I
of
get
noise.
so much.
I know.
Email.
I get the email. I do. I get the emails,
insane.
and it's
yeah.
hard to keep up.
Right. It is. It is.
I mean,
It
I
is.
think they post most of them to Facebook as well. I mean, we're just gonna stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's what
we
it is. We
plan
got to
a
pay
Stogie Geeks
attention.
event
We're busy. We're busy people. Let me tell you, I've had one of the busiest weeks of my lives. This time of year right now for me is just 1,000+ miles an hour because it's work is going crazy, right? Because everything's so many companies, their budget will flip in July.
Yes.
So they're prepping for their new budget season in July. So
can you pass me that down one right there?
we're running 1,000 miles an hour at work, and then it's end of year for school.
Yes.
Like my son just graduated elementary school, and there were like 5 different activities this week that I had to be at.
Yep.
When I leave here, there's like a 5th grade graduation pool party. I got to go and
Right.
make sure nobody drowns in the pool because I don't know about you, but 5th grade boys, they're knuckleheads.
Yep.
They're knuckleheads. They don't pay attention. They don't listen, and they have no fear.
It's a bad combination.
It's bad combination.
Requires a
right?
lot of supervision.
A lot of parents, and
that continues when they're teenagers. too,
Yeah.
by the way,
great.
you're screwed.
I mean,
you're screwed, dude.
That's
I'm just
it.
telling you
And,
right
and
now.
you put 20, 11-year-old boys together.
Oh god.
Forget it. That's why they recruit parents. Come
Right.
show up and just monitor.
And help. Yep.
Monitor the situation.
You guys smoked anything that was really notable lately?
Notable smokes lately. Let's see. What did I have?
I tell you what, I've been big on Padron. I like.
Yeah, those are
mean-
those are like the go-tos. I'll tell you,
You can't go wrong. Like the Padron anniversary, this Family Reserve series. You can't go wrong. Like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna go smoke a special cigar,
yeah.
that's I smoked the 45th anniversary Maduro or Family Reserve Maduro on the show Wednesday. I think, and it's just you're just never disappointed.
Yeah. The last Stogie Geeks that we did, that Santana interview cigar,
Yeah.
that cigar there, I bought 4 of those. I think they actually just released them again. That cigar is amazing. It's Costa Rica. Costa Rica Puro.
Nice.
And it is a beautiful,
Not too many of those.
beautiful
We've
smoke.
talked about Costa Rican
Yeah,
tobacco and cigars
beautiful smoke.
in years past, but yeah, I haven't dug in lately.
Beautiful smoke. The Crozier is doing such a great job. And we said it on the last podcast that we were on. Actually, you guys interviewed Santana way back when. Episode 100 and whatever, 50-something, 59, I don't know, but way back when. That was a great, great cigar.
Yeah, notable. I had the EP Carrillo Short Run 2022 Retro,
Oh, interesting.
and
I have some of those
I haven't
at home.
smoked any of his newer stuff.
Yeah,
I
some of
I
those-
smoke a lot of his
yeah.
older stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's really good. It's like a Robusto size. It's a little thinner. It's super. It's so tasty. It's not strong, but and the tobacco's ready. So that's been there, and the La Ranqueza by Tatuaje.
Oh, yep. Yep.
I like short runs a little little more depth in the taste department, but it's medium compared to the La Ronquesa. But those are the two kind of notable stuff that I've been kind of on over the past 40 days or so.
So speaking of Costa Rican cigars, the Persian Rug is an LCA drop. Costa Rican Puro Lancero right here. I brought it just in case, and I'm almost done with this one, so I may fire this one up next.
Oh, I smoked a La Aurora Preferido 100 Años. They make, I mean,
Yeah.
this like unicorn cigar now, right? Good luck finding it. I was like, oh, I wish I could get more of these cigars. I found one kicking in my humidor. I took a picture of it because I was like, this is a significant event. Like these cigars, like to my knowledge, really don't exist anymore in that like full, it's a large Preferido size and has the, you know, the lion on there with the 100 Años band.
How old was that?
This cigar's old, and much to my dismay, like it sat too long. Like it was a little bit aged out. Like it was really good. I was like, and it smoked great. I'm like, this is a great cigar, and I did enjoy it. But I was like, I wish I had smoked this a little sooner because it lost, it lost some with age. Not a little bit, like it lost some.
And you make fun of me for resting my cigars for 90 days, but you rest some of yours for like
too
10
long,
years,
man.
brother.
Yeah, too long. This is, again, this is probably I probably got it next door.
Yeah.
Because they have a very close relationship with La Aurora next door. And so I probably bought a bundle of them next. I want to say this was like a bundle kind of thing that they had. And bought some next door. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Let it
They
go
had
too long.
La Aurora did an exclusive for them too with that Años blend.
Yes.
And it was so
I have
tasty.
some of those.
So,
I have a
they're
box
so-
of those kicking around.
They're
We should
so
smoke
tasty.
those.
They are like so tasty.
Because those probably, we should smoke those.
Yeah.
Now having smoked out, I'm like, we don't wait too long.
All right.
We could do
Game
maybe
on.
Next month we'll
Game
break
on.
those out.
Let's do
Those
it.
are like petite Coronas though. It's not a big cigar.
Yeah.
But they're good. I smoked one of those in the past month or so, and they're smoking good. So we should probably rip through them and get them
right.
smoked.
Right. One of the articles I had in kind of flipping into the business of cigars, and Room 101 got acquired.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, by Scandinavian
I love
Tobacco
Matt.
Group.
Matt is like such a nice person.
Yeah,
He's a
and
great
you know,
guy.
you go out there and you look at all the social media posts, and oh my God, Room 101, they're going to go down the toilet, blah 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 blah. But I'm like, that's business 101. That's like, you want to cheer that. Like you
Yes.
want to take a look and say, this is the success story. You got a guy who went out there and built his brand and built up Room 101 to what it is today, and then got a larger company come in and acquire it. And I feel it's going to allow him to maybe focus on the places he could focus, and they'll run the business. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, he still has a piece of the action. He still has a piece of the strategy around the cigar line. So he's still involved. And, I sit back and I say, I wish Matt the best, and you know what? Take it to the next level now, because that's what
done some great cigars, man.
Yeah.
Like I bought some of his cigars. Weirdly enough, on a closeout. I'm like, I don't understand why you'd be closing out some of this stuff, because I bought some of his, like a box of 50 Petite Coronas and a short Robusto. It was the Master Series, I want to say. It was like a discontinued line. Like I think that's why it was on closeout, because it was a discontinued line. And I bought some of those, and my battery's running out. I don't think I plugged my laptop in. I bought some of those, and like they smoke. They're amazing.
Yeah,
they're awesome, awesome cigars. I wish I could find more of them. Right?
Yeah, and so
that's the problem. I like these cigars, and like a lot of times it's cigars they don't make anymore.
Right. I mean, you guys were telling me a few shows ago that start trying a breakfast cigar. Remember I was telling you I never smoke a breakfast cigar. Never. So I went out and I'm looking around and I see a Room 101 breakfast in Portugal. Now I'm a Portuguese and I'm like, hell yeah! I need to go.
Portuguese.
This is a
I need
sign.
a breakfast cigar.
This is a
It's got-
sign.
Yeah, it had your name on it. Literally.
My buddies are telling me I am a bitch because I will not smoke a breakfast cigar. This is a sign from God. Breakfast in Portugal, right? I bought it. I smoked it. It was great, and I will smoke morning cigars from now on.
Yeah,
Morning
I've
cigars
been
are
a fan
amazing, man.
of Room 101 since I first found out about them.
Yeah.
Like the super.
Now they started boutique, right? Boutique cigar.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm going in a Wayback Machine off the top of my head, they were done with Camacho, but I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the you hear all of these stories, right? Room 101. Is the name because of like a hotel room that he started was selling the business out? I don't know. I hear all these stories. I hear all these stories. I don't know if you guys know the real story, but
yeah, the story I got on the streets was that was the name of the hotel room and they were selling cigars.
Gotcha.
That was that, but I never did much fact checking.
But I mean, again, I look at it from a business perspective. I wish them the best, the absolute best. Because this is at a point as a business owner, you've built the brand, you've built a cult. I mean, he's built a culture. He's got a jewelry line, he's got gin.
Yeah.
He's built an entire culture around this brand, right? And now you have a very large global company coming in saying, we want to take that and take it to the next level. That's every business owner's dream.
It's kind of funny because Stogie Geeks, I'm making the number up, call it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When he announced he was retired, I said he'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he came back, and then I was like, there's no way he's going to retire.
Yep.
You know, and then people are like, oh, well, he's got his jewelry thing going on and this and that. I'm like, nah. He makes good stuff. Yep. And sometimes people kind of bring you back to that microphone, or they bring you back to that podium of what you're known for. And he makes some super cool, tasty sticks. So, yeah.
So I bought the Room 101 Master Collection 3 in the Roxo size. So the Roxo is a 4x48.
Okay.
Short Robusto. The MSRP was $180. I ordered them on closeout for $89.95.
Oh, there you go.
I don't find it. What's interesting is I have not found like really good deals on cigars, and I don't know if it's because the economy has shifted, right? And COVID has had its kind of longer lasting impacts on production, shipping, and supply chain, and all that stuff. So this is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Dominican binder, Nicaraguan filler, and it is an awesome cigar. They smoke great. Got a 92 from Half Wheel. This is a great cigar. And then I ordered the Papichulo. So this is the Room 101 Master Collection 1. So he put out these master collections in different years and different sizes. And the Papichulo is a 4x42 box of 50. MSRP was $400. I got it for $150.
Wow.
I still have a bunch of the Papichulos left because it came in a big box of 50. Also a great cigar.
Yeah.
Great cigar. I was really happy with both of those. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
but you can't find them now.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, that's the problem we run into, right?
This is a problem. We need to get with Matt. Be like, dude, can you recreate that? Because that was really good. Yeah.
Now, what do you guys know about the Scandinavian Tobacco Company? I mean, tobacco group. I know they have other lines.
I don't remember now.
I mean, again, it's about the quality of the acquiring company as well and what they're going to do with the line. But yeah, I just don't know enough about them as a parent company now. And
I don't know what like Room 101 looks like today in terms of their offerings, right? Like I know some of their older stuff that I just described as being really good. As far as what's available today, I'm not quite sure.
So I'm on their site right now. Balmoral.
Yep.
They own that. They own CAO.
Yeah.
Okay.
They own US Cohiba.
Yep.
What else? La Gloria Cubana.
But weren't Cohiba and La Gloria Cubana, weren't those either General or Altadis? They were one of those companies before, I thought.
Yeah. I'm looking at their brand. They have a whole section of their website that's our brands. Let's see.
So I didn't keep up on the industry news.
Macanudo?
Yeah.
Is that maybe US?
Yeah. Potagus.
I thought that was Altadis that owned those brands or General Cigar. Which one was it now?
st-group.com is Scandinavian Tobacco Group. These are all their brands. So they're in.
That's interesting. Like I said, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just going to stream the line, create 20 SKUs off the rip.
Yeah. So Partagas was General Cigar. Those were General Cigar brands.
Let me click in. You can click into the brand here. Hold on. Let's see what they say. Because I want to say the Cohiba was the U.S. Partagas was relaunched by General Cigar Company in 1978 in the U.S.
Right, because I want to say General and Altadis picked up the U.S. versions of because they were primarily Cuban cigar brands, right? General and Altadis had some of those that were non-Cuban cigars, but the same brand that they marketed here in the U.S.
So they're actually showing their market for Partagas, and it's U.S. Nowhere else in the world. So they must own the U.S. market of.
So General must have sold. And people that follow the industry are like, you're telling me shit that I already know.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Yeah. Which Partagas, so like of all those brands, like I was never a huge, those are like the commodity brands here in the US. Like you can walk into a liquor store.
Yeah.
You guys have seen it, right? Because we're cigar people. And you look in their humidor. And typically you would find those rebranded Cuban brands.
Yep.
They were picked up by General and Altadis in the liquor stores, right? So you can buy a Cohiba, you can buy a Partagas, you can buy a Romeo and Julieta.
Yep.
And those were all traditionally Cuban brands that were then blended outside of Cuba and marketed towards the U.S. from all the companies that we've described. Now it's what is it? Scandinavian?
Yeah, Scandinavian Tobacco Group.
I wonder if they bought General. No. I'm not sure how it all transpired. I can't find quickly online how it all transpired. Right. But again, people are kind of yelling that they already know this. And I apologize.
Like, how can you not know? Because if it happened within the past 5 years, I can tell you from working with Security Weekly, it's been a blur.
Yes.
So, there's one thing that Paul and I
we followed the cybersecurity market very. I can tell you about the cybersecurity market. The past 5 years, cigar business market wise, we have not.
Yeah,
we followed the cigars, but not necessarily some of the business.
Yeah,
all the business transactions.
It's been a blur.
And see, that's the stuff I'm starting to get interested in, just because that's the line of business I'm in, right?
Right. But it's interesting that you find these brands, and I think because it has that brand appeal of people know Partagas from their Cuban lines.
Right.
And so then they have the U.S. brands, which are non-Cuban, largely Dominican, that get marketed here into the U.S. When you walk into a liquor store and they've got a few cigar lines, that's typically what you find are those rebranded Cuban brands like Partagas. Now, Partagas makes them, out of all of those brands, right? You get like Partagas, Cohiba, Romeo and Julieta. And I think as cigar people, right, we tend to gravitate towards Room 101 and the Drew Estates and Fuente, Davidoff, Fuente. But some of those, there are some cigars in those lines that I really, really love. Romeo and Julieta Vintage, I think it's a number 2, is the Torpedo in that line. One of my favorite cigars. Talk about the morning smoke, Jason.
Yeah.
It's one of the best morning smokes.
Yeah.
Stogie Santa gave me one. It had a ton of age. And I remember, like, it's a good cigar when you can remember, like, who gave it to you, what the Vitola was, what the brand was, and where you smoked it. We rented a beach house outside of Bonnet Shores in Rhode Island.
Yep.
I remember being out on the deck, working on my laptop, smoking one of those cigars, going, this cigar is friggin' amazing.
Yep.
I think I've gone through, now the one that Stogie Santa gave me had some age on it, right? And I'm like, I actually found them on sale online, and I bought a box, and I smoked through the whole box.
Wow.
And then I bought another box, and I smoked through the whole box. And now I'm wondering in my F-off section, I don't think I have any left.
Really?
I don't. I think I smoked through all of
so
these
those
cigars
made it to the F-off section.
Dude, it is a Partagas Vintage number 2. Talk about something else while I find this.
Yeah, well, I just found that in 2010, an agreement was signed to form a new company, Scandinavian Tobacco Group, by combining all the tobacco business of Scandinavian Tobacco Group AB with the cigars and pipe tobacco business of Swedish Match AB, including the U.S.-based subsidiary General Cigars and Cigars International.
Interesting.
Yeah, 2010 right here.
Wait, so hold on. Break that down for me again, Jason.
All right, so 2010, an agreement was signed to form a new company, Scandinavian Tobacco Group AS, by combining all the tobacco business of Scandinavian Tobacco Group AB with the cigars and pipe tobacco business of Swedish Match AB, including the U.S.-based subsidiaries General Cigar and Cigars International.
So General Cigar was a subsidiary
of the Swedish Match.
Okay.
And then they combined both groups together.
I gotcha.
And Cigar International was part of that too. Cigars International.
Well, because a lot of cigar manufacturers make cigars just for Cigars International. Because you see stuff on there and you're like, wait, I haven't seen that anywhere else. They make them just for Cigars International.
Right.
I can't wait till this episode posts. We're gonna get so much hate email.
Why are we gonna get hate email?
You guys didn't know this in 2010. I was like, man, it's been a blur. My life's been a blur for the past 5 years. It's crazy. So that puts me 5 years ago. Yeah, so 5 years late. But I think us as Stogie Geeks follow the brand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like, you know, as opposed to the corporate. You know, and a lot of those that you mix in the brand are not really, honestly, quite frankly, even though, you know, Podagus makes some good stuff and Romeo and Juliet makes some good stuff, and yeah, you could throw like the Cohiba Red Dot series in there and all that stuff, but like realistically speaking, like they need to acquire more companies like a Room 101, to stay competitive against the boutiques.
That's
and
right.
Also because the boutiques inject innovation into the product line.
100%.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's like, you know, in the world of cyber, it's like a smaller company that gets swallowed up by a bigger company because they like their technology.
Yeah.
And they're injecting innovation into their product.
That's right.
And, you know, don't be surprised if you start seeing a couple more go through, if that's the route that they want to go.
I wonder if we're at that. Are we at a point now, because we went through this in technology, of massive consolidation?
We will if the FDA drops the gauntlet.
Yeah.
For sure. Because the small companies are not going to be able to pony up the fee, whatever the fee is going to be, the $250,000 per SKU that they're throwing around, $200,000 for it to be FDA approved and all of that. But some of the good brands are going to be swallowed up by the big guys. And not for nothing, you know, you can't blame them, right? You're a smaller guy, and then all of a sudden, purse strings come by and say, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna make your product to scale."
Yep.
And you can still stay on board. You can still be an innovator. You can still be a contributor to the product. But instead of producing, again, I'm making the number up, $2 million of cigars a year or $3 million a cigar, we can now do, you know, $8 to $12 million cigar a year. Give you a couple more SKUs, give you some more exposure. And by the way, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars for your proprietary reg. We're going to say no.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't want the, you know, it's like everybody, you know, all the Drew Estate crew, like, oh, I can't believe like Jonathan Drew sold out to Swisher International and this and that and this and that. They still like Drew Estates. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go to scale and they do their thing, and it's a better product.
I'm sorry. It was a Romeo and Julieta vintage number 6 torpedo.
Okay.
I thought it was Partagas. It is a Romeo and Julieta vintage number 6. Great cigar. Colorado Claro wrapper, Mexican Dominican binder, Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. Sorry, the color is Colorado Claro, is listed on this website, which is weird. The wrapper is an Ecuadorian Connecticut. It's a Connecticut-based cigar. It's a 7x60, which is a weird size, right? But it's a torpedo, a pyramid is what they call it, shaped pyramid, and love this cigar. In fact, I got to order more of these. It's a Romeo and Julieta.
You sure there's no more in the F-off section?
I'm going to go check after the show. But speaking of morning cigars, one of my favorite morning cigars, and like weirdly enough, like it's not from like a boutique cigar company or like it's from it's Romeo and Julieta,
right?
And not the Cuban vintage, like the non-Cuban vintage. So there's definitely some gems in there. I think people think like, oh, Cigars International, your liquor stores is what largely carry these cigars, but like no, there's some gems. Partagas makes some awesome ones. The Ducatus was a limited line from Partagas. Freaking amazing cigars. They've got some good. Their limited Partagas stuff is really good.
Yeah. Now you put some Davidoff articles out there, and I just happened to put a Diaz Cabrera, an Eladio Diaz article out there as well.
Oh, that's the new person at Davidoff, right?
No, because he was the blender for Davidoff who left.
Oh, okay.
Remember we talked about
this,
and he left, and he's launching his own. He has his own company, right? Diaz Cabrera.
Hanky Kellner retired.
Yeah,
from what I understand.
Right.
Again, this is like stuff we don't. Keep up,
but he's going to launch his first cigar. Right, it's coming out. What is it? Delictado. Delictado is the name of the cigar. And it's going to be an LCA drop. I'm going to get it in my monthly. That's what I'm hearing. I'm going to get it in my monthly.
You got to share that with us then.
All right.
Yeah, we got to try that.
All right.
We got to try that. Davidoff had, they're increasing production of premium cigars by 35%. I'm happy to see this. In talking to like local shops, like there's still supply chain issues with getting cigars as a result of the pandemic, which is unfortunate. But I was encouraged to see Cigar Journal posted an article that Davidoff is increasing production by 35% to maintain to meet their demand. They're a growing company, like people are buying it, so they say our brands are growing strongly, right? So they recorded growth of 28.9% compared to the previous year, which is great.
Yeah.
I think this is a great thing for the industry, right? Despite regulations, despite supply chain issues, companies are, Davidoff being one of the larger companies, obviously, but to see them posting these kind of numbers, I think is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's a really good thing.
It is. We want to see the industry grow.
And we want to see demand being met, right? We want to see these cigars available. It's hard, even with larger companies like Padron. Shops are going like it's hard to get these, some of these cigars in. I have to place like special order. Like, I'm like, I'm like, I want to pay you guys for it. Like, can you order me a 1926 40th Maduro? Like, but the box is like $500 something dollars. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to smoke a special cigar, I want one of these boxes on hand.
Yeah. I mean, it's supply chain all over the world. It's happening everywhere. I mean, just, going back to the technology side, getting equipment for customers.
Getting a Raspberry Pi. For those listening, Raspberry Pi is a small little computer. It's great to get people started on computers. It's great to have. And there's all different models for hobbyists to learn computing computers.
Getting kids to tinker with.
It's a tinker play, but it's also like a great thing for security professionals to play with.
Yeah.
Go find one on Amazon now. Like you can't. I talked to someone in our industry, Joe Grand, who's into the hardware. He's one of the most prolific hardware hackers in our field. And even he says, he's like, if I need new Raspberry Pis, man, he's like, I'm paying a premium on eBay right now to get them. Right. And Joe was someone who keeps up on all of this. I actually just posted a video where he helped someone get into a phone that had some cryptocurrency on it. Awesome video.
Really?
You should go check it. Even if you're not in technology, they break down every step of it for you.
Wow.
Like even like JTAG, which is a very technical kind of thing. The video's like this like regular dude that works for the transit authority in Seattle. Like I had this phone that had some Bitcoin and I'm locked out, and Joe helped him, dude, and had a production company produce this video of getting back. I'm about halfway through the video, and it's produced in a way where it's got a wide audience.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool watch. Like it's produced like a TV show. I'm like, you did a great job.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out.
How do we get on that supply chain?
Yeah, all supply chain. It's everywhere. I mean, we have customers waiting, 30, 40 weeks for gear, for equipment. Weeks. That's insane. Sorry.
I don't want to wait that long for my cigars.
Sorry, we can't get to your project until next year.
Right.
It's absolutely insane.
What else do we have? Oh, I want to just hop on some of these names. I think the stuff happening today that is attacking flavored cigars worries me greatly. I think, again, think what you will about vaping. The fact that the U.S. government can come in and tell a company you can't sell your products here in the U.S.
Right.
That's scary to me.
And this is why I think the premium cigar brand the industry needs to be separated from all that.
Yes.
It needs to be treated completely different.
We've established it on the show, man. Vaping is a very different experience from smoking a cigar. I'm going to tell you right now, I've tried a lot of different vape stuff. Like I was into it for a while. Yeah. A lot of different vape devices I've tried. Several. Yeah. Like all kinds of different stuff. I even had one. Because someone was talking about this when I was doing a Security Weekly episode. And I'm like, or I posted on Facebook. Someone mentioned in a comment, like, hell, you should get a vape device that looks like a cigar. I'm like, dude, I tried one.
Did you?
Covered it on the Stogie Geeks. I had one. It looked just like a cigar. Yeah. It's a plastic vape device that looks like a cigar. It had vape juice that was supposed to mimic a cigar. I'm like, look, I'm going to try it. Like, because I want to experience this. I want to talk about this and see what it's like. It wasn't great.
No, yeah.
Like it leaked. The flavors were nothing like a cigar. It is vaping for me for a while was like, can I get away with this and kind of supplement? Like, how different is it from cigar smoking? Dude, it's totally different.
Way different.
It's totally different in these devices that were made that I tried that would mimic a cigar experience. Totally not there. So you're right, Jason. It has to be
separated.
because it's not smoking.
No.
And it's not tobacco.
Right.
But you get this group out there, Tobacco Free America,
And
that's
they
lumping all
lump
this
everybody
fucking
in.
shit together.
They
I'm like,
lump them all in, man.
one, it's not tobacco. Two, it's not even about nicotine. Nicotine's just one of the ingredients they use in vaping. Marijuana is another one. CBD is another one.
Yep.
They use the glycerin and vegetable. There's another one. There's polyglycol, but there's also the vegetable. Like, there's all kinds of different ingredients, right? Yeah. And there's all different types of vaping. In my experience, and from my technical know-how, it is nothing like smoking a cigar. They should be completely separated, but they still tend to lump them in, and we do have to lobby to get that shit separate. That's what I like about the Florida law is it differentiates them from cigarettes, which I think is a great step.
It is. It's huge.
Cigars and pipes too.
Right. We have to
totally
separate that out.
man.
We
Like,
have
it's
to separate it
tobacco.
out. It can't be lumped all in the same. We can't.
Right.
You can't just do this broad brush legislation that's going to affect folks who are cigar smokers, right? And we're not smoking cigarettes. We're not throwing our cigarette butts on the beach like we're talking.
We're not vaping.
We're not vaping. I mean, from the vape perspective, I know people who buy like gallons of the chemicals to make their own. They call it juice. You said it earlier, right? To make their own vape juice. They're buying it in bulk. They're getting it shipped to their house and they're mixing it and then giving it to their buddies and
But a lot
selling
of
it.
it doesn't come down to science. A lot of it comes down to they don't want children smoking. I get that, right? But like, how many kids are going to get cigars?
It's not going to happen.
I mean, we've seen that, right? Like, it's
not going to happen.
It's not
gonna
a
happen.
thing.
That's
kids don't until they reach what I've found in my experience. I use my nephew as an example. Like, the later years in high school, in college, and in going into college is when they might start thinking of smoking cigars. So my nephew and I will now share a cigar.
Sure.
The problem that he has is he's not 21 yet.
Right.
So we can't buy cigars.
So that's another problem that I see because here's my perspective. If you can take an 18-year-old kid, you can put them in the military, you can hand them a rifle to protect this country. They're going to go out and die for this country if a war breaks out. They're willing to go out and die for this country and sacrifice themselves. You're telling me they can't smoke a cigar? Give me a break.
I mean, I think it's a health issue, and they got to draw lines in the age somewhere, right?
Okay.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, right?
But 18 years old,
18
I
years
think
old.
that's a good age right there.
You can't drink in marijuana largely now until you're 21.
I get it, but again, you're going to hand them a rifle and send them out to war.
Right. But if you're 18 in Rhode Island now, you can't buy ammunition or guns until you're 21. But you're right, you can go sign up for military.
You can go sign up for the military, though. It's just, for me, it's conflicting things. You know what I mean? Like, at 18 years old, I was smoking cigars. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was smoking cigars.
Right.
And
when I was in college,
goddamn, if you're going to tell me I can't. Right.
When I was in college, I was smoking cigars with my dad.
Yeah. I think we need to rethink
Way
it
more
all.
productive activity than vaping or smoking cigarettes
I
or
would
any
agree.
of those other things,
I would agree.
right?
100%.
And so the attack on flavored cigars is kind of, I don't want to give them any ground. Man,
No, that's-
right. Like, I want premium cigars to be premium cigars. They happen to be flavored,
Right.
But I think where it mixes in is you got the grape flavored cigars you can buy at the convenience store versus the Drew Estate infused cigars, which are actually very good. I've got some in there that I actually enjoy smoking.
Yep.
The Nub Cafe Cappuccino.
Love those.
Those-
Cappuccino,
if I'm gonna-
macchiato. They have the espresso.
If I'm going to smoke a flavored cigar, one of those, I think are really
I
good.
dig it. I like them.
Yeah.
I
They're
really,
not
I
bad.
really
Every
do.
once in a while,
Yeah.
I
I
will
mean, it's
pick
not
one.
like an but I'll have one if I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But those go away, right?
Those go away in this new
Yeah,
legislation.
no bueno. No
Like,
bueno.
they're attacking everything from menthol cigarettes to any kind of flavored cigars to any kind of flavored, vape. Like, it's all under the same umbrella. Like, anything flavored means it's being marketed towards
But
children.
this is why we need to lobby. We need to have a group of folks who can lobby for the industry and actually go out there and educate the difference.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, you'll have so many lawmakers out there who don't even think about the difference. In
No.
their brain, it's all lumped into one thing, and we need to educate them on the difference.
Yeah.
And we need to be able
And
to
it's a
go out there and
continuing
walk.
education.
It is.
'Cause
all the time.
Politicians change over.
They do.
Their motivation is their political career. It has
That's it.
nothing to do with
That's it.
legislation.
That's
You
it.
got to understand that first and foremost.
That's right.
So you got to continue to lobby.
And you cannot reel the laws back. Once they're in, they're nearly impossible to retract.
It's rare. The U.S. Superior or Supreme Court, one of the courts overturned the New York law for open carry, which now means all the other states that have passed the law are falling in the same group. But that's the exception.
They set the precedent.
That's the exception, not the rule. When it gets
Right.
challenged at the federal level, that's when it starts unraveling.
Yeah.
At the state level, that you can't pass laws that contradict the Constitution.
Right. And how much time and money does it take to actually reel all that back? It takes a lot.
You got to repeal. You got to repeal the law.
Takes a lot.
But if the federal courts are saying that's unconstitutional,
right,
that has to be repealed.
Yeah, totally. They'll fight it. They'll fight it in every state,
and they're going to fight.
They're going to have to fight it in every
state. It's
state.
going to be a fight.
It will be a fight, and it takes a lot of time to do that.
Yep.
Right. So if you can,
and wasting our time on
if you
stuff
can be
that,
proactive
we don't,
and
like
stop
shit
it up
that
front.
doesn't matter. Like,
right.
Scientifically, a lot of this stuff is stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
Does
the cigar industry have a lobby on?
Yeah, Cigar Rights of America.
Cigar Rights of America, CRA, right? Mm-hmm. And they're out there lobbying. Yeah, we just got to get involved as a community. We need to get more involved, right? Helping the cause, stopping the laws before they come.
A lot of stupid laws being passed recently. Like, man,
yeah,
stuff not only that we don't agree with, like a lot of us wouldn't agree with, but a lot of stuff I'm like, does that really have an impact?
Right.
Like a lot of these laws are being passed for political reasons, and I think to bring that back to cigars, like that's a political motivation. It's not a public health crisis.
Right.
The science is not going to point you back to a public health crisis.
Right.
It's all political.
Yeah, and so much of it is that I'll call it feel good legislation. You know what I mean? As a politician, you want to go out there.
We ban this, and
we
ban
did that, and
that's
this is what we
feel good thing. It's good
thing
for my political career.
100%. Yep.
Because I questioned last Wednesday on the show, I was talking with Josh about this. I'm like, I don't think the science points that. Let's just take plastic bags that were just banned here in Rhode Island. I'm like, I'm a huge proponent of the environment.
Yeah.
I don't think that has an impact.
Right.
Because if you want to use these reusable shopping bags, there's mixed of cloth and plastics in those that makes them not recyclable. So now, instead of a thin plastic bag, now you've got this cloth thing that you're going to use for 3 to 6 months. It's going to get dirty. It's going to rip, and you can't recycle that.
Right.
Most of those bags have to go in the trash. This podcast I listened to brought on an employee of like a plastics company that has a background in this, and he said, the way they manufacture, he's like, we manufacture some of these bags. So they brought on like a subject matter expert that was like, they actually can't be recycled. So like, again, back to your point of like feel good, like you shouldn't feel good about a lot of these things, because if you look at the science and the impact, it actually can make things worse.
Totally.
By banning plastic bags as an example, right?
It's the law of unintended consequences, right?
Cigars the same thing.
Yeah.
Why are you going to impact an industry that employs all these people when there's like no real benefit to it? It's just a feel-good
legislation.
It's a feel-good legislation measure that we're getting lumped into all these other things that quite frankly could have a public health risk. Like high schoolers are going hardcore on these vape devices, and that's a problem that needs to be addressed. Now, do I think you should ban everything? Again, I'm not a big fan of banning. Banning anything just creates black market and impedes on people's freedom.
Makes it worse,
in my opinion, right? So like address the health issue.
Yeah. Nah, agreed 100%.
But then you got Diesel coming out with the Sunday gravy grappa.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, that's. I'm not saying it's a bad cigar, and I want to knock Diesel, for this as well. I think it is interesting marketing, but we have to be careful about our marketing, right? Not to say that Sunday gravy is going to appeal to kids either.
No.
I think this appealing to kids thing is the smoking gun of politicians. Like I can get anything banned and get some legislation under my belt. Like, hey, I helped pass this legislation and ban this thing that's hurting people, and it's
for the children. It's for the children.
Because I can say that it was impacting children, right? Or impacting the environments the same way.
And there's
like
no
the
way.
environment and children are these very fragile things.
Right.
And if we pass the legislation, whether it makes sense or not, I think is our point, that I've done good as a politician. More people are going to vote for me when I rerun for office or go to the next level in my political career.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
We
that we're
can't be
in
doing
today.
it. We can't be doing it. Slippery slope.
Mm-hmm. What else? What do we want to do next month? Let's tease it out.
Do you guys actually want to smoke those RCs next month?
We're going to do it July, right? It's going to be sometime in July.
Yeah.
It's going to be summer. We're going to smoke. I wish I had gotten a hold of the new firecracker from Garofalo.
Oh, yeah.
They sold out really
Yeah,
fast.
they did.
They
did.
I don't have the cycles to chase as much as I used to. But what was the latest? Because that's a very summer, like
Bandolero?
July. It was
Bandolero?
a Super Mesa cigar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right?
I
Was
don't
it?
know. I thought he came out with a Bandolero, but yeah.
No, you're right. It was Bandolero. I think in years past it has been Steve Saka did one.
Oh,
And
I
this
actually had
was
an article. The Saka
Bandolero.
Khan. The Saka Khan. He came out with the Saka Khan. Did you see
Saka was a cigar?
a cigar. Yeah. Yeah.
I like Steve cigars a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah, me
like
too.
the
Me too.
Mi Querido Onco Largo. It's a Toro sized, the blue and gold band. I frequently have a box of those in my humidor. Believe it or not, that's a stronger breakfast cigar.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a heavy medium kind of thing, but you can totally smoke it in the morning. I love that. If you guys have that cigar, you should try it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll bring some.
Yep. It's a launch. Mi Querida Saka Khan.
I also like the Umbagog. You know the story behind that?
Yeah.
It's a bundled cigar that's a similar blend to Mi Querida
Yeah.
that is named after the lake where Steve fished at. And he was like, this is a cigar I'm going to smoke while I'm fishing.
Nice.
And I tell you what, I think it's the Robusto size in the Umbagog. It's amazing. Bundled cigar, it's great.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Well, we can post what we're going to be doing for next episode when we
That's
think
it.
about it.
I think we do the RC series.
You want to do them?
Because we haven't done I was almost tempted to do Tatawahe on this one,
Yeah.
but I think that's a good one to do.
Yeah. By next month, there'll be 90. There'll be 90 days in my humidor. At that
All right,
point.
let's do it.
All right.
Next month, we're going to do it's the European release.
It's the European release.
Of the art that Jason worked very hard to acquire for the Stogie.
I think I sent you guys like daily updates on
Oh,
where
it
they
was
were.
amazing. It was amazing. Great
Well, you
stuff.
challenged me whether or not I'd be able to find it. Remember?
And you did, man. Great work.
I hunted, my friend.
All right, so no one smoked one before then. Let's make a pact right
Make a
now.
pact?
No one
Don't
smoked
give
one.
it back. Save it. Save
No
it.
one's smoking one before then.
All
We're
right,
gonna
all
all
right.
smoke it for the first time.
Stick it in your humidor.
next month.
They'll be 90 days aged. By the time next,
going in the F-off section in my humidor.
He's twitching. He's twitching.
Joe's gonna cheat. He's gonna.
If you cheat, let me know. I'll
be
bring
cheating,
another
taking
one.
off the
I'll bring
brand.
another one.
You know what I
If
mean?
you
Like,
cheat, just let me know. I'll bring another one. Just don't say anything about it.
Try and hold off.
I won't cheat.
Try and hold off till next
Yeah,
month.
please.
I'll
And
focus.
we'll all smoke them together. And
All right, I
we'll
love
let
it.
you know.
I love it.
I'll focus for sure.
Well, thank you everyone for listening and watching this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. We'll see you next time.